Hey, how we doing? All right, so you're trying to figure out V-carve, and you're having some difficulty where it's cutting too deep, or the software's warning you that it will cut too deep. So let's kind of go through where we're at. I grabbed a screenshot of your file here, and then I retraced it. So the software I'm using right now is called Bobcad, and from here I could just bring in your image and position it and scale it up or scale it down. From there I ended up drawing some ellipses, so you can come in and draw an ellipse and bring it into size. And then the other thing I did to trace your file here is I used the spline, and I kind of went around and clicked through something similar to this, where I just went around and traced it as such. Okay, so once I got done with that process, I end up with a file that looks like this. This file is made up of arcs and splines and other shapes. I can verify that by going to Entity Summary, and it will tell me what I have in here. So I have 3 lines, 4 arcs, and 21 splines. From here, what I did is just save the file as a DXF, and then I brought it into the V-carve software. Okay, so at this point I have the V-carve set up, and you can see, let me see if I can make this smaller. Okay, so I have the V-carve set up, and then you can see I'm getting a carve here. Now, I don't know if this is the desire you're after, whether you want the letters raised or whether you wanted it cut down. But the way that this algorithm works is the width of the letter, or the width of the shape that you select, is going to determine the depth. So where the shapes are narrower, you'll see that it's a shallow cut, and where the shapes are wider, right, you'll see it cuts deeper. All right, so that's how this toolpath works. Now, for us, let's go ahead and just create a new file. All right, so we'll say no to that. Okay, so we create a new file, and the first step is to kind of set up your job. It appears that you understand how that works. So I have it on center, I have material top, and then I have a stock shape that is bigger than our part geometry. Okay, so after I set up my stock shape, the next thing I want to do is import my vectors. So I'll just come in here and grab this DXF. All right, so now I have the DXF and it's in position. Now, because I drew it in an external package, if I try to just jump over to V-carve and generate some toolpath here, it's gonna yell at me. Let me see if I can select all this stuff. All right, so I select it all. I uncheck flat bottom. Okay, I pick a V tool and I click calculate, and then it yells at me. It says there are open vectors. Okay, I do get it to cut some of the letters, but it's not cutting everything. All right, so let's go ahead and delete that. All right, and we'll jump back over to the CAD. So before I can get into the toolpath side, I have to close the vectors. So I just come over to the drawing section, and then over here there's this join open vectors. So I can click that. I have everything selected. I click join, and then now it will consider them closed vectors. Okay, so from here I'm going to jump back over to the cam, and I'm going to click V-carve again. Okay, I'll select all the shapes that I want to work with, and then I'm going to click calculate, and it'll take a moment, but as we see this, let's reset the simulation. As we see this, it's going to come through and it's just going to carve out those shapes. Okay, so that's kind of the workflow there. So let's go ahead and delete this. Let's reset this, and again, I'm not sure of your exact desired intent, so let's kind of back up for just a second. These holes here, I assume, is so that you can, mount it to a wall or another hardware device. This outside shape is going to be a cutout, so that's the outside profile. And then between this outside shape and this inside shape, I don't know whether you want to have a pocket first, where you pocket down to a certain depth, or whether you want the letters raised, okay? And that matters because it kind of changes the workflow that you would use. So because there's a border here, this indicates that it's going to be some kind of pocket or like another level there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a pocket routine, and I'm going to select this, and I'm just going to make it a shallow depth, and we'll go ahead and calculate that, and we'll simulate it. So we're going to come in and cut a pocket first. Okay, so that's step number one. All right, now that we've done that, let's go back to the 2D view. All right, the next step that we want to do is to do like the V-carve, right? So we're going to close this window. We'll window pick what we want to V-carve. All right, so we'll select all those. Then we're going to go to V-carve here. Now it's important that we adjust this starting depth, because we told it to pocket first, so we want to adjust this depth for that distance. I think I typed in that. Alright, so that's going to tell it to start at this depth, and then from there we're going to go ahead and hit calculate. Alright, so then we get our pocket first, and then we have our V-carve, so we can go ahead and simulate that. So now you have your pocket, and then you have your V-carve. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close this simulation, go back to the 2D view. Now for these here, you know, I don't know, I would normally drill them. I'm not really sure how to drill in V-carve, to be honest. So maybe, oh, I guess it's this one here, drill toolpath. Alright, so we'll go ahead and let's unselect that. We're going to select this one, and we'll select that one. Let's do shift so we can select two of them, and we'll calculate that. We'll play that, so that will go ahead and drill the hole. Alright, and then the last thing that we want to do here is to cut out the outside shape. So let's go ahead and close this, go back to a 2D view, click on the screen to remove our selection. We're going to click this outside shape here, and we're going to do a profile. This looks good. We want it on the outside. You know, maybe you're going to tab it. I'm not too concerned with that. Let's just go ahead and calculate this. So that will give us our toolpath to cut around the outside. We'll go ahead and play that through, and there you go. That's your sign. So, you know, the takeaways here are the V-carve routine is really designed to cut as deep as the math will allow it based on the boundary. If I selected this outside shape here, it's going to try to cut all the way down. So, you know, if this is the intent that you're going after, this is the workflow that I would follow. And if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, just reply back to the group or the thread, wherever this video may be posted. Other than that, hopefully this helps, and I can't wait to see your results. Thank you so much.